What's up YouTube, it's Danny James back here again, and today we have an Adobe Premiere Pro tutorial. What I'm going to be showing you is a particular flicker effect. It can be used on transitioning and making your video look cool. I have a few clips on my timeline and I want to show you what I did for each clip and how you can go about the same thing and do it in your next project. Okay, for the first thing I want to show you, it's this glowy look. It's kind of fuzzy, which happens a few seconds while it fades away and comes back. And let's use this specific part of the sequence to remake the same thing. One thing about this shot, it has lights behind it, or the general sequence has lights behind since it's a tunnel, so it's advisable to have a clip which has things happening behind in terms of light. The next thing, I'll make a duplicate of this clip. I'll also label my clip to something which I can easily track. So this is the area I want to have the effect happening. So just for a few seconds. The next thing, you want to go to your effects tab and look for the echo effect. It should be right under time. Drag and drop it on your clip. Let's go to the first frame. To alter this, let's go to the effect controls. If you cannot find the effect controls, go to Windows and make sure effect controls is enabled. What you want to change, you see right now it looks somehow choppy. Let's change the echo operator to blend. You still see no difference, but it should happen eventually. I'll retain the echo time, number of echoes, and the starting intensity as they are. But what I'll be altering should be the decay. I'll be going up, back, up. Just look at the values. I increase them, and then I go back. Okay, we'll start at 0. Hit the stopwatch. Go 5 frames ahead. I'm holding Shift on my keyboard, and then I'll hit the direction buttons to the right once to go 5 frames. Alternatively, you can do it manually. You can use the directional buttons on your keyboard and just hit it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can bump it to somewhere like even 1 looks quite okay. And 5 frames ahead, I hit Shift and the direction right arrow key, and then I'll go back to 0, Shift 5 frames, then take it back to 1, and I'll just keep on doing this. Since I'm already there, I can copy these keyframes, hit Ctrl C, but make sure to go 5 frames later on and then paste the keyframes. And then I'll also try to make sure that whatever is between the first keyframe and the ones that I've pasted, they are still in line with what we've been doing. So right here we are at 0, and the previous one is at 0, and the previous one is at 1. So we need to remove one of these keyframes. I'll delete this one and I'll pull all these other keyframes to this point. Let's preview these. Yeah, that's the look of it. It's very simple to do. And I'm going to be showing you the next thing, but it's not really a flicker. It's somehow like a glow which happens to your video over time. How I'm going to be doing this, here's a raw clip and there is no effect at all on it. I'll duplicate once again. I'm holding Alt on my keyboard while dragging this clip up to make a duplicate. The next thing, go to your effects tab and look for a brightness and contrast. It should be under color correction. Just add it to it. Again, we can identify the area we want to have this happening. I'll randomly pick this section. It doesn't have to have lights or anything, unlike the other one. So let's just start doing what we need to do. Go to your effect controls, right under brightness and contrast. We'll hit a stopwatch on brightness. So we begin at 0, and then we shall go 5 frames once again. I'm holding Shift and the right arrow key once, and I'll bump it up to 100, then Shift and my arrow key, go 5 frames again, put it back to 0, and we are going to be doing the same thing once again. 100 to 0, 100 to 0, instead 100, 5 frames and then 0. Right now, since we are at 0, we can copy these keyframes, Ctrl C, make sure to go 5 frames later on and hit Ctrl V. Again, let's counter check if the keyframes that we've pasted align to what we've actually been doing. So this one is at 0, and then we have a 0 and then 100. So we need to remove one keyframe which has 0 as the value, and then we bring these other keyframes right here. And let's preview what we've done so far. So it kind of brings this glowy, charmy effect which comes on as it goes back. And the last thing I also want to show you is how you can transition. As we saw in the video, there is a few flickers that happen, and this is how we can go about it. So I want to transition between the first clip, the model looks at the camera, and the second clip and the model is about to make a performance. And then what we want to add, we want to go to our project bin, and you can create a new color matte by hitting this one here and going to color matte and selecting a color that you wish to. If you're using an older version of Adobe, just go to File, New, Color Matte should be somewhere here. I already have one which here, so I'll just drag it and drop it between the two transitions. Okay, let's drop it in the middle of the two clips. I'm going to be using my arrow keys, and I'll go 2 frames to the right. 2 frames to the right, I'll make a cut. And then where we were in the middle, let's also have a cut. Let's go again to the left, 1, 2 frames, a cut. Again, what we want to remain with is we want to have 3 of these. So we didn't really have to do everything to the textbook, so just follow along kindly. I also want to make sure that the middle one will be precisely in the middle of the 2 clips. So which means that from the central point between the 2 videos, I'll have 1 frame to the left, and if to the right, we also have 1 frame which has the color matte. And these other ones, they're also here to introduce and finish off the effect. So it's very easy. Again, we just made 2 frames, which means that when the video is playing normally, it should hit the user's eye. Let's preview it. That's really cool. I also did something a little bit technical here. How I went about this, let's delete, and right here we shall drag our color matte, which is white in color, and let's make 2 frames sections of this. Again 1, 2, again 1, 2. We need 3 for now, and we're going to also space them. So from the first one, we need 2 frames, and then the next one can come, and then after this other one, 2 frames, and then we'll have the last one. So on the first one, click on it, go to the effect controls, and it's very easy. You can change the position to have it occupy half the screen, but again, you won't know the necessary measurements, so I'd recommend going to your effects tab and looking for a crop effect. I really love this little tool. I'll drag it also on the other 2 clips. So for the first one, go to your effect controls, and let's crop it 50% from the top, and it occupies the bottom half of the screen. For the second one, we'll have it crop from the bottom 50%, and it will occupy this top half of the screen. And for the third one, we'll just have it as it is. And let's preview it quick. Yeah, that's it. So it's very small details that make the effect look profound, and I hope you've learned a thing from this video. If you are new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to stay creative, and cheers.